For 10 years?
Yeah.
10 years in the Circus House.
So the first thing I thought we could tell people about is how we first met.
Yeah, so...
True story.
It is a true story. We met on a juggling job, didn't we?
We did, and I enthusiastically bounced over to you and said, I love circus.
And told me that you were going to start a circus school.
Yep.
And I had been chatting with Al, because we were already teaching circus together.
We met in a car park in Chiltern.
Did we?
Yeah.
All
right. But I was doing circus skills, and you said, if you can do that, do you want to come and teach Tuesday night class? Or it was Friday night class for the first one.
Yeah.
And we did that circus group for, I think, 4 years.
Yeah. And we talked about we wanted to do something for Manchester and have a training space in Manchester. And then you were away on tour?
Yeah, well, I went to Green Top first, and then from there I got a work experience with NoFit, which took me to around Europe, and then I ended up in Bristol.
And yeah, and then in this time, Sean told me about her plan to start circus school, and I thought, well, me and Al haven't really got anywhere, so maybe we should join in with this.
Yep. And I had a date with the bank, and then we all went along, and I think I met you that morning. But it turns out I already knew who you were.
From a car park in Chiltern.
Because you used to hang around, well, you used to DJ.
Back in the day.
And,
but I think the big thing was the fact we all had to leave Manchester to train. And we all thought that was a crying shame, seeing how Manchester's going to be this big cultural base. But yet there wasn't a circus space dedicated to training.
No.
Yeah, it seemed like a real shame, and that was the real drive behind getting the Circus House up and running.
Okay. So that is the origins of the Circus House. So the next thing we can talk about is our greatest achievements within the Circus House.
I think this one's a tricky one because loads of stuff has been so exciting, and sort of I could just make a great big list.
Yep.
You want a highlight? I really enjoyed the show that we all did together at the Museum of Science and Industry. That was
The graphene.
The graphene show.
The graphene show was brilliant. We all got to wear tiny underwear, and we embodied Manchester's passion for graphene. And it was really good fun, and it was really wonderful, wasn't it? It was really nice.
And then I think the other things that really stick out for me, I think it's probably Boxed. I think because that was a combination of both our whole Circus House community show, and then that show going out and being part of a bigger show for Manchester Day.
My favourite bit of Boxed, well, there were so many bits that I really liked about Boxed. I mean, I really liked the fact that the white box kept haunting Jake and he could never get rid of it. But my other favourite bit was the van, how the van sort of rolled on and then became the van made out of human people. It was great. I really enjoyed that bit. It was very imaginative. Well done, Owen.
I think the nice thing with our shows is it never felt like we've been repeating ourselves. Each step has grown from doing our first show in a warehouse or the first space in Ancoats, to then working into a theatre, to working into professional theatre, to working with collaborations. Each one's always seemed like a step up or a step bigger. But I think my proudest moment, I've got favourites, but I've got to say it, watching James Brown, who was one of our youth students, walk a balance beam at the Royal Northern College of Music for one of their shows. And just, it's that buzz of seeing a student that when they turned up, didn't necessarily find circus easy, but stuck with it and progressed. And I think walking a balance beam in a show, walking a balance beam at the first, any time is hard, but walking it with an audience of 500 people and live music and projections, I was literally in the wings, jumping up and down. I thought the sense of achievement with that was just amazing. But at the same time, anytime I've seen anyone do a roller bowl in a show, anyone doing balance, when I've taught them balance, just the danger element is there and anything can happen. So that's always my proudest moment. Some of the roller bowler that the kids have created themselves, I'm just like, wow.
I like the one where
Anyway.
Travis got who on his shoulders? Was it his little sister on his shoulders?
No, you had Gray.
Gray. Oh, where Travis got Gray on his shoulders. I mean, that was one of our early shows, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I think that show was also when I realised the pure comic genius of Lawrence and Joe on Globes. It was just hilarious, wasn't it? It was so simple. It was a really good bit of clowning. I think my favourite show so far has been Letters, which is the one we did with the Royal Northern College of Music. And I think mainly because it was really challenging to have that many people working together from 2 different companies. And I think the lasting memory I have from it is the end, and it was all over. And it felt really good, and it felt like a really positive thing, and it felt like something that had really pushed me as a circus facilitator and a director. So I find that really challenging but very rewarding. What does the future hold for the Circus House?
Ooh. It's tricky.
Well, we survived COVID so far.
Yeah. We survived setting up a business in a recession.
And a Tory government.
Not that we're political.
So we've survived a lot of potential negative pressures.
Yeah, it's more of the same but bigger and better.
Yeah.
It kind of feels like.
But also just watching where our students have headed as well. We've now got students, again, that joined us with the youth programme that are going on and training on a national and international level. And I'm excited to see where they're heading. I think it's inspiring for the next generation of young people coming through. And the adults as well. And they've all got crazy ideas. So I'm kind of up for seeing where our members lead us and take us in a way.
Yeah, I'm up for that.
Yeah.
I'm just coming through, but definitely more performing in more wonderful venues across Manchester and the UK.
There you go, better and more circus.
Yeah, more circus all the way. And probably more hip conditioning as well, which I'd really If anyone's got any other conditioning other than hip, leave in the comments below.
Can I tell you a little bit about the last 10 years of the Circus House? I can tell you a lot.
My eldest has been with Circus House since she was about 8 and she absolutely loves it. It helps her build her confidence, it helps her build her dexterity, physical skills, and it helps keep her fit. And because Circus House is such an inclusive space, she's free to just be herself and everybody's really welcoming. My youngest feels the same. They started as soon as they were old enough. At 7, and they also absolutely love the fact that it's such an inclusive space.
I go to This Girl Can at the Circus House, and I'm really enjoying it. We're a few weeks in, and I just feel like I've gained in confidence, not just with doing the activities that we're doing, but also just in myself. I've made loads of really good friends. And it's really fun. I'm really hoping to carry on afterwards and do a bit more circus skills.
I do trapeze and acrobalance at the Circus House. I love it because it's so different from anything else that I can find anywhere.
You started at 9 and that's when you met Owen.
Yeah, I started, and then I think I was 13.
Is it filming now?
Are you filming this back and forth?
Just having casual conversation, man. It's fine. It's fine.
It's grown and grown. I mean, obviously 10 years ago, it's quite a long time, and back then we wouldn't have thought we would be stood in this situation now, where it's a very successful company, 10 years of some fantastic work all over the country. I've gained so much experience for teaching as well as performing, but my teaching practice is, I'd like to say, is very good now. I'm very confident with my job. I've got lots of experience of it now, and I really appreciate the family that is the Circus House. It's been lovely. It has.
I found out about Circus House probably about 3 or 4 years before Luna, my daughter, came, and I'm like, you need to come here, it'll be really good. And she just didn't get it. And then eventually she did come, and she's like, why did I not come 3 or 4 years ago? But anyway, she hasn't stopped since then, and it's just the most amazing space. It's a true community.
I do trapeze and I do hoop at the Circus House, and I enjoy it because it's, again, like I say, very different to a typical gym, and the community that is created around it is lovely.
I do all kinds of things. I do silks and trapeze and hoop and a bit of juggling as well, and whatever I can get, really, because because it's a great place to be. Really enjoy it. There's nothing that I've ever done there that I've thought I've had a really miserable time. The people there just make it a happy place. Love it.
No, I think it was about 30, 40 minutes.
When you came to Circus House.
Yeah.
And then I was about 11, so we came at the same time.
Yeah,
And then we did Youth Circus.
the youth circus. And then it was you and Joe that got onto
Got
the
onto
scheme.
cat scheme, which then we had the cat classes.
Yeah, which was epic because like I couldn't get on cat anymore because I was too old.
Yeah.
But we got loads of training.
It's been amazingly beneficial to my son. He started when he was about 7, he'd just come out of school, and it was just an amazing chance to try new skills, meet new people, and it's really helped him to make friends and develop physically. And just this is a really, really beneficial experience, and long term because it's still coming a few years on.
Yeah, I have a job that I generally like to get up in the morning and go and do, and that is so rare. The Circus House originally started at JJB Sports up in Ardwick, which was a massive sports horse size building that JJB Sports had gone into receivership, so the Circus House was able to use that. But that got stopped when JGB got put into receivership, so then the Circus House had to find somewhere else. But the original space was huge. It was like 40 foot high, 109 foot long, 60 feet wide. It was massive, and it was such a shame it got shut with the receivership. It took Circus House quite a bit of time to find their current premises, and that's worked out well. You know, you've changed that space quite a lot. You know, with the aerial rigs and everything like that you've put in, it looks really cool, professional. When we did that photo shoot for Manfrotto and we saw the video, it was a bit surprising to realise that actually that's the Circus House, and that's the space we always go to because we're used to it. But to see it in a video, in photographs, it's like, oh right, okay, look at that place, that looks proper. You know, so that was a good eye-opener, I suppose. Yeah.
My kids found it absolutely just ridiculously important. They've got joint difficulties, and maintaining their strength has been really, really important. And having like the motivation that they get from coming to Circus House, it's been like absolutely key to them, and it's really like that community thing's really like absolutely the thing that keeps them coming back and keeps them putting the effort in.
We love Circus House.
I've been 6 times. My favourite thing is probably actually doing a lot of poses on the tracks, because it's not so much the ab-walling goes. It's really different.
And what do you want to be when you grow up?
A trapeze artist.
And the cat classes we did stuff with performance and like characters with Al, and then we did aerial stuff with Sean.
Aerial stuff with Sean, and then like acting and clowning and sort of learning about performance.
Yeah, with Alex.
And then Owen was like
tumbling and
just pure
acro.
conditioning.
Beefing up.
Yeah, it was just like, yeah, we're gonna get you strong.
Yeah. And now I have a lot of joy inflicting that on the new cast. Like, I've done Roxanne for 10 years, I don't need to do it anymore.
You will learn the pain of Roxanne.
Yes.
But yeah, it's been a bit of a wild journey. It's been brilliant. Turning 18, starting to work. Coming out with you
and
guys.
now then I work at Circus House now, so
yeah.
I teach keys and all that from Youth Circus, and it's so nice.
Yeah, you've taken over from me now. I've sort of disappeared.
Yeah,
you're the big teacher. Love it.
We met at Circus House, so I googled out. So when first I came to the center, so I met you there. I met Sean, and also it was exciting. There was something going on, so there was vibrant training there. So I was excited. I live in Burnage, so it's nearby. So I was a little bit excited. Then I was sharing my experience in Ethiopia and also my interest. Then after that, after 8 years, so Sean contacted me for the potential work together. So that's the beginning of the Circus House journey.
I love contact juggling, you know, the crystal ball thing. So I consider that to be my forte, but I'm a juggler, you know, so if I put anything in my hands, I want to throw it around, I want to roll it, I want to play with it. We do so many other skills at the Circus House, so I've gone and learned many other skills as well, mainly to do with aerial and balancing people's bodies on mine.
Favourite memory? Oh, this is going to be a difficult one.
Well, the first time I performed at Circus House, I did a trapeze act that was to paint it black Rolling Stones, which Owen still puts on now. Like kids that do trapeze, it was like 9 years ago.
Our doubles trapeze routine.
Yes,
I remember
actually, that was
so
sick.
much. That was sick.
Right, okay, so our doubles trapeze routine, and that was like, Sean said that out of the blue and was like, I want you guys to do a doubles trapeze routine. It was mint. It was really good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, that's
it was
just
really
Sean
good.
though. Sean is just like,
With-
I've got a random
That show
idea.
was really
This will
good,
be
actually.
executed immediately.
And the cat one as well that we did with that, because that was we did an acro one as well, didn't we? With Felix, Yarrick, me, you. Yeah.
The plate clowning act.
Oh
we
yeah,
did
with
the
you and
company,
Felix.
That was
That was
brilliant.
really good as well. Yeah.
As
yeah.
a group memory for Cat though, it's got to be when we all did clowning together, and we
Yeah,
spent
the
2
clowning was
hours
good.
just.
And when
ripping
Lawrence
into
did the
each other.
catwalk as well. Do you remember that? And Siggy took all those pictures. That was really good. Yeah.
At Circus House, I'm a performer and also I'm also teaching tumbling and also I do some juggling club and also I do a performance with Circus House. I'm happy with the helpful and passionate people, so I'm happy to be involved and be ambitious with the Circus House. There is a lot of going on, so there are people who inspired me, and also I hope I will enjoy, and also happy 10 years anniversary.
I have been coming for 4 years. I've been coming for 4 years too. I've been coming for 3 years.
And what do you guys do at the Circus House?
Trapeze.
What do you like the most about trapeze?
I love the uncomfortable shapes, but then they get less uncomfortable as I love all the moves. Yeah. Moves are really fun.
And what do you hope for the future?
That I'm doing like silks and stuff like that too. By the end of the year, in future I want maybe like to be amazing at trapeze and be a trapeze teacher. In the future I want to do hoops.
My favourite thing about working for the Circus House is getting to meet such a wide range of people and teaching people amazing skills and making them feel good about themselves and showing them that they can achieve things that they thought were really difficult and and like I love working with groups to help them like come together to make something beautiful that they can be really proud of. So yeah, that's one of my favourites.
So when did I come to the Circus House? I think I was probably about 9 years old or something. And it was when my brother was there and I was bored and needed something to do, and it seemed like something else to do, which was fun.
My experience of the Circus House is that I used to come for open training as a professional, and then I started some lockdown training with the Circus House, which was very, very much needed as lockdown was driving us all crazy. And then I became a teacher for the Circus House, and now I teach beginners silks.
And I did a few kind of different sorts of aerial classes, and then lockdown happened, so I did the Zoom classes and gained a lot of strength and flexibility from that, which was exciting. So then came back to some hoop classes and silk classes and actually felt the difference, and yeah, it really helps me in every way.
What skill did I enjoy doing at the Circus House? So I was particularly interested in the devil sticks and stuff like that for a while. That was my thing. I Particularly, I think the first thing that I picked up where I kind of found myself to be quite good at it and learned a lot about it and got the kit myself and stuff was contact juggling, thanks to Pete. And that was a lot of fun to do that because I'd kind of just sit with Pete and do that on my own, which was a lot of fun. And then I think in the end, I had a go at everything. I got quite interested in the rope for a little bit, but then still walking became my kind of main sort of fun thing that I was quite good at. So
aerial has always been kind of my main thing. I got quite into acro related stuff for a bit, and then just started doing more aerial. It was mostly trapeze for a while, but then I kind of got more into other things like silks, but aerial was always the main thing.
I've been coming to the Circus House for about 3 years. My favourite thing about the Circus House is the community, because it's just fun to come here. This is one of the highlights of my week. The circus skill I practice the most is unicycling. My favourite one's probably staff spinning.
I've been coming to the Circus House for 9 years. My favourite thing about coming to the Circus House is the people and the people you meet. My favourite skill is Diablo. It's just fun and you get to be creative with how you make your tricks and making new ones.
I've been coming to the Circus House for about 7 or 8 years. The thing I like about the Circus House is it's just such a nice place to be. Everyone is so nice and obviously the circus. My favourite skill is probably aerial hoop or silks. I like aerial hoop and silks because they're just so fun just to be in the air and just make cool shapes.
What is your favourite skill to teach and or to practice?
Acrobalance.
Obviously. Eat, sleep, breathe.
Yeah, I really enjoy it. I don't know, because I teach quite late on the Wednesday evening, and sometimes I'm here for a long time before I end up teaching, and it doesn't matter how knackered and grumpy I might be before I start teaching, I inevitably come out at the end of the acrobalance class really with a smile on my face. Yeah. I love doing it and performing it as well, but yeah, without fail, I come out of the class going, hey, it's all right, it's been an all right Wednesday.
Well, having been taught by you to do acrobalance, you're a very good teacher of it as well.
I love teaching the youth circus. Like I say, I love teaching kids when they come in and they can't throw or catch a ball or spin a plate, and just watching it grow and develop into 5 club juggling. But I think one of my favourite things to teach as well is clowning. I think it's a really nice way of just getting young people or nervous people to be silly. I think that's a really important part of being circus, is allowing yourself to fail and being totally comfortable with that. And I think the performance games and the clowning games are just a really nice way of reminding people what it was like to be a kid and just give something a go because it's fun. And it's just a good chance for me to be silly as well, which in a crazy world is always good.
I think the thing I most enjoy teaching is the outreach side of the company, so working with people who might think that they could never do circus, and using circus as a sort of therapeutic tool and a well-being tool so that they can access it and have a nice time. And I like teaching people who say no, because when they realise that they can do it, it's a proper buzz. And I also enjoy putting shows together. So creatively, I enjoy sort of getting people together to make shows and performance.
I think 2 of the social things that we do that have really made an impact on me. One is working with any of the autistic children or adults that we work with. Every lesson that I've taught with one of them is a complete surprise to me, to see how people that society assume can't do stuff come into this space and just smash every level of expectation that we have, whether it be movement, whether it be coordination, whether it be getting on apparatus. They're just a joy and a pleasure to teach. But I think one of the biggest schemes as well that I've really personally got something out of was the reading feeds. When we were going all around Manchester and it was a scheme put on by the county.
The libraries, but yeah.
By the library space. And again, just taking us into a space that isn't a circus space, meeting a group of people that have never done stuff before. And just seeing what the young people and also what the parents get out of playing with their kids, or doing a physical activity with their kids. don't normally ever have access to. And just, yeah, I love it. What was the one where we ended up in that town? They were having a fun day. That was in the middle of nowhere.
Oh yeah, that's up in Derbyshire.
In Glossop, weren't you?
Yeah, yeah. It was this housing estate set in these beautiful rolling hills, and they'd crowdfunded to get us up there to come do it was a day at the beach with Circus on a day that it just rained, and we had sideways rain. We had rain coming back up off the floor, and everyone still got proper stuck in until it was, monsoon rain, when the lady who booked us demanded that we went indoors and had a cup of tea. And we were like, but we've got half an hour left. And she was like, no, get inside, have a cup of tea.
Yeah. But we turned up with our tight wires, we turned up with all our circus kit, and again, the kids just had a license to play for the afternoon, and that was really beautiful to watch, really beautiful to play. They were all fully engaged. I think that's it, when parents are like, our kids don't engage with sport at school, or they don't engage with physical activities, but if it's circus and it's playing, they'll quite happily play for 3 hours without stopping.
My favourite thing that we've done recently are the Wellbeing Sundays. So we've invited families and people, the solo people, all to come together on a Sunday to do some circus skills together. And it's been a real pleasure to run them. I've enjoyed doing them.
Yeah. There's so many things over the years where, and it's often places where people might not think the circus fits, and you go along and you say, okay, we know that people who take part in circus are going to do physical activity when they don't usually, or we know that these young people who are very quiet and not very forthcoming will end up on stage and be, receiving applause from, in some cases, literally hundreds of people in an audience simultaneously. So I think maybe the project that sums it up for me, I suppose, is where we've worked with groups of young carers in the past, particularly Trafford Young Carers, but before that, Manchester Young Carers. And we've had groups of young people who come to us having done no circus whatsoever, and then in 12 weeks' time, they're in the centre of town when there are 80,000 people in the centre of Manchester for Manchester Day, performing to huge crowds. And that opportunity to go from, I've never done this, to I'm going to do the most incredible thing, I think really sums up the opportunities that are there within our social circus programme.
Yeah.
Walk a mile in stilts.
Baptism by fire, really. That's all the questions. I've really enjoyed the last 10 years.
Yeah. It's become our life, hasn't it?
We have lugged circus kit on buses, on trains, we've walked it across town, we've filled up Owens and Sharon's vehicles from top to bottom.
Yeah.
It's been a long 10 years. It's been amazing.
Not looking to retire just yet.
Not yet.